after 5 people, 2 parents and 3 children, were found dead inside a home yesterday. West Valley City Police posted to social media just about 15 minutes ago saying they anticipate providing an update on the case today. No specific time given for that. And right now, at this very moment, a 17-year-old boy, also a family member, is hospitalized fighting for his life with an apparent gunshot wound. We have our own Fox 13 Scott McCain. He has the very latest details.
This all sort of begins on Monday. That's when police received a call from a relative concerned about the fact they were not able to reach a woman who lives inside this home. Police showed up. They didn't see anything out of the ordinary and they left the scene. But things ramping up again on Tuesday when that same woman called police, and also the woman did not show up for work. Police arriving here again on scene, and that is when they made the gruesome discovery. When they went inside, they found the bodies of a man and a woman, he in his 40s, she in her 30s. They also located their 11-year-old son and their 9 and 2-year-old daughters, all of them shot to death. Officers also finding a 17-year-old. He was in the garage suffering from a gunshot wound of his own. He was rushed to a local hospital, but police say he was significantly injured as a result of that shooting, and they were having a very tough time communicating with him. Meanwhile, Fox 13 News speaking with one neighbor who says he was really just trying to digest everything that happened here.
Honestly, the world is a dangerous place, you know. Anything, like, especially like this is such a big eye opener. We're never like truly safe. So I can't really do anything about it, unfortunately, but I think as long as I'm here with my family, I think we'll be okay.
Now, police tell Fox 13 News they do not believe there is a suspect on the loose or that there is a danger to the public, that this was an isolated incident inside the home. They also confirm all 6 victims are family members who were living together in the house. Police obtaining a search warrant on Tuesday evening, spending hours going through the home, looking for clues, evidence, anything that might give them a reason why this tragedy took place. As soon as we get additional information, we'll bring it to our viewers. In West Valley City, Scott McCain, Fox 13 News, Utah.
When something like this happens, there are certainly a lot of questions about the investigation. Chris Burbank, a former Salt Lake City chief of police, is joining us this morning to talk about what the process would look like. Thanks a lot for joining us here this morning. First of all, you know, we don't want to make too many deductions here, but police have already left the scene. They've taken down the police tape. They haven't announced an arrest in this, and they don't say they're looking for a person of interest. So what do some of these things mean to you?
Well, there's 2 responsibilities of the police department. One is to make sure that no one else is in danger. Right? And that is the first and foremost thing. And I think they determined right away nobody else is in danger. And then the second is to make sure that you have a solid case or idea of what took place, right? Eventually this will go to trial and you need to make sure that everything is covered.
Chris, a very short time ago, West Valley City Police did put out that they will give another update later this afternoon pertaining to the case. What should we expect? What sort of information will they be releasing?
Well, they will probably give you an idea of who they believe or who's responsible for this or what took place. The important thing is, right, responsibility of the police department is to inform the public and make sure that everyone's safe, not to feed the need for all the gory details. And it is a fine line that you have to walk because there is a responsibility to give information out, but also a responsibility to retain information to make sure your investigation is solid.
You know, this is one of those difficult things for everybody to hear about, but what is it like for officers responding to something like this where you have a 2-year-old, a 9-year-old, an 11-year-old, a 17-year-old, you know, and a couple of parents there?
Well, these are some of the things that officers never forget, right? Unfortunately, Salt Lake City had its share of horrible incidents like this, and officers to this day, in some cases 25, 30 years later, are still impacted by what they saw the moment they entered a home like this.
Chris, you know, I can't overstate enough that this is so extremely tragic, and not knowing who's responsible and what led up to this, or really any of the pieces, just in general. If people are feeling under such extreme stress right now, it's a tough time, the holidays, what would you recommend as a former law enforcement officer to people who
are not perhaps in their right mind or going through a troubling experience?
Well, reach out and talk to somebody, right? And that is different for everybody. But this includes police officers, first responders who showed up to the scene. You want to reach out and let your feelings be known. Sometimes that's a close friend or relative. Other times it's a crisis line that you want to reach out and just have a conversation about. I think the important thing is for everyone to recognize it doesn't sound like the public's in danger here. So don't worry about what may happen to you or your family at this moment. But if you are impacted, reach out and have a discussion. It's important that we all at least unburden ourselves of what our concerns are.
Well, important things to think about for everybody, because really an entire community gets impacted by something like this. We're going to leave it on that right there. Former Salt Lake City Police Chief Chris Burbank, thanks for taking the time for us. We appreciate your insight.
Always good to be with you.
Likewise. And we continue to stay on top of these stories here, especially this one, the West Valley City investigation. We'll pass along any updates on air, on our social media pages, and online at fox13now.com.